into this, and that's great because there are actually some fine things to this. But look, when Picard was captured by the Cardassians and they're torturing the shit out of him.
The 4 lights and 5 lights thing?
Absolutely. All right. Now, again, there are multiple people that are wrong and multiple people that are right in that, even though it's about torture, and that was a specific act that Patrick Stewart had to grunt.
Well, you know, one of the reasons I love Q so much is because
he's Space Jesus.
but that's no. What we have, our standard template for movies now, and movies and storylines, is you have the evil, terrible, bad person villain, and then you have the failed protagonist who has to get over their own personal issues to beat the evil, bad villain. That is the standard storyline. No one ever does the not really quite a villain, and that's what Q was. Q wasn't a villain. He was a jerk, but he was this different entity.
Right.
If he was a true villain, he'd snap his fingers, kill everybody. He would have bugs eat Picard alive and shit. He doesn't do that. That's not what he's up for. And so he was an interesting character because he's a bad guy, but not. And so you actually have the failed antagonist. Usually, instead, it's Hux. It's just ultimate Nazi evil fuck. Yeah. Is who we're fighting, and then the good guy has to get over their ills and qualms and private histories. It's struggles.
We're live.
We can continue this, but we just have to introduce ourselves.
I'm Pat.
I'm Will.
I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Ryan.
All right. Continue.
So just for preface, we'd like to get into this here, and we have some gripes right now when we're talking about the narrative shorthand. Okay, I'm going to put it that way, narrative shorthand, particularly within people who, or certain groups that really should know better, but they don't.
So why do they keep doing it?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, okay, I have reasons. I
right away.
Does it sell though? I mean, like everything's tanking.
That's the question I asked.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I think it sells. So this is an interesting point because the news media that you have today, and this is what I wonder about.
I pay for mine now.
Yeah, because you have to.
Yep.
Unless you just want pure fucking garbage. But all right, so you have, say, let's just take the big hitters. Let's take and she's about gone. It was Rachel Maddow.
Is she still around? I thought she was gone.
Or is she gone now? Okay.
Well, isn't Jen Psaki taking her spot?
Jen will take her spot. Peppermint Saki will take her spot. And so let's take her and just assume she'll fill in that spot and garner. So you have what, like, it used to be kind of Hannity. I think Tucker Carlson took over for that. You had Rachel Maddow.
Hannity's still around though.
No, he is, but he doesn't have the audience. His bigger audience.
He's more of a radio guy anyway, isn't he? Still? He's on the radio whenever I drive over here.
No, I don't listen to that. I mean, I'm sure he's got a radio. They all have their own radio shows, right?
Oh, do they? I don't know.
Are you listening
Seems like
to
it.
Fox News channel?
No, it's on KRDO. It's just on
really?
13.
No, but he's always had his radio show.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
had
yeah.
Fox and then radio show. But I guess where I'm going with this is you have this fight between, say, Fox and MSNBC or CNN, you know, so you have, and they're all fighting over, the most you get is about 4 million people, or like, that's a really good show.
They're
for,
all
like,
over 7.
Tucker and Rachel. But for the most part, you know, at least for MSNBC, CNN can't even get 1 million people to watch. And so you're watching, they're fighting over 1 million, 2 million people.
Crumbs.
Like nothing. And that is the question. And they keep going down that line. And so what you end up having to do is you have just this, they're not legitimate analysts at any point anymore because they can't. Because they can't say, if you're Tucker, you can't say Republicans are wrong. And if you're Maddow, you can't say Democrats are wrong. Because if you lose any semblance of your audience, if you only garner 1 million people and you lose 10% of that, you're in a basement. And so you have to keep feeding that narrative to keep that going. But is that successful. No one seems to try to be like, hey, let's go back to Crossfire. Let's go back to the McLaughlin Report. And
There's something I haven't thought about in 2
and
decades.
really try, like, instead of playing political gotcha gamesmanship narrative bullshit, like, let's actually sit down and talk about an issue calmly.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think the audience programs network, not the other way around. So, you know.
But when your audience is so small.
Yeah, that's why it gets so weird looking to the rest of us, because we're not in it.
Yeah, well, hold on. Okay, so the thing is, you've got the phenomenon that you're describing. It's funny that you say that, because it actually functions in the complete opposite way in a different area where the audience is also shrinking rapidly, right? So take the opposite view here, take that and then look at the mainstream music industry. And I've picked on this before, okay? Mainstream music had a way different tone when it came to trying to discover things and taking risks on artists, right? But as their mainstream audience shrunk, okay, the sameness of mainstream music is palpable, right? It is either pop with a rap influence or rap with a pop influence.
Or apparently now country with a rap influence.
Correct, right? Yeah. Where it is, because they are so desperate, okay, they don't want to take risks on big acts and heavy hitters on this, because they want the things that are known sellers, right? Whereas when you have what is a divisive niche, right, that's where you're saying, like, keep amping it up towards 10. Whereas music went super safe, you know, politics has become double fringe. What I don't know if that is safe or if debate is
You
the
can
risk.
find debate if you look for it, but
Well,
yeah,
basically,
you're not going to find it on CNN. Man.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No. But
You know, which is fine. It just means that people are going to go elsewhere or die.
They do that.
well, I do. And I think people do go elsewhere. I guess my question is, what I'm seeing is, I think people think what Tucker does and Maddow does is safe.
Right.
That's what I'm wondering. It's like they're not trying to get everybody. They're like, no, you go to your, like, ultimate and spoon feed that audience that you know is guaranteed to be there.
Right.
And you'll at least always get that, as opposed to trying to get this bigger market to watch. And I don't know if that bigger market exists. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, we're at a point that, like, if you hear something that is contrary to your own opinion, it's violence against you, and you hate it, and you run off to your Facebook page that's heavily curated to your own sites. You watch your you go to your own corner of the political landscape, because I'm like, I don't want to hear anything else. I mean, the joke is that Republicans know more about Democrats than they do Republicans, and Democrats know more about Republicans than they do Democrats, because all their news media is like, look what the other side did so terribly and how awful they are, and they never tell you about what your team did.
Yeah. I can kind of see that.
No, and it's fascinating. And you see comments from Twitter, comments from people who are like, who will talk about, there was one notable recently within the last couple of weeks, and he posted, and he's like, all news media is Trump and MAGA and everything, and the Democrats need to get at it. And of course, conservatives laugh, because it's like, what, you're talking about New York Times and Washington Post? They're in the Democrat camp. And it's like, they are, but everything they write about is how terrible Republicans are. And so,
If you stay off the opinion page, you're okay.
New York Times,
Yeah.
and someone on the Times,
Hostess.
but at the same
You
time,
can't even look at it, man. It's almost like, oh, this is the page this guy, you know, like, I had this book when I was a kid that had all these sharks in it, and there were certain, like, pages that I'd open up to, and they were, like, really scary.
but it is, they report on each other's side. You never hear about your own team. And so it looks funny. So from points of view, you have just a skewed landscape that's just and I wonder, is there a market for an in between?
You know, I've heard a lot of people make that argument, and there have been a lot of attempts to do it, and they just don't work.
But the problem is, every time I see it, somebody does it, and they're like, "We're going to make it mainstream," and then you read it, and you're like, "Well, no, you're biased.
No,
you're clearly a Republican-based site, or a conservative-based site, or a liberal-based site." I mean, I remember Just the News came out,
Just the News,
with John Solomon, and John Solomon's tremendously biased, and some of his reporting was sketchy to begin with. And they're like, but this is just, this is all we're going to give you is the news. And yeah, you go do it. It's a complete conservative site. It's like, yeah, you're not.
It's like Dinesh D'Souza. I'm going to give you just the facts.
Oh yeah, I'm going to give you just the facts that support my argument.
Jeff, did you pay $30 for his video?
I'm tempted to watch it.
Okay, let me know how it goes.
The mule thing?
Yeah, I'm tempted to watch it.
What's it on?
2,000 mules. It is
2,000 mules. So apparently there were tens of thousands of mules running around the country stuffing ballot boxes in key locations.
What they did was
They
they
got
used.
pictures of them. Ooh.
Well, but what they got was they went and bought a whole bunch of non-identifiable cell phone data, and then found between particular nonprofit organizations and ballot drop boxes, like people would go to them at the same time, and so they like somebody go from the nonprofit to the ballot box and the other ballot box and ballot box,
and they're doing circles.
Yeah.
Going.
Now
You should have DoorDash drivers.
Now the problem is no one quite knows
The
how.
path goes like this.
Yeah.
Like this.
Show me the fucking ballots. That's my argument.
And then they show
You're gonna try and
pictures.
do
And they
from
show
these
pictures of
ballots,
people
show me
like
the
taking
ballots.
like 5 ballots and
So-
stuffing in a ballot box.
I do that all the time. I do that for my wife, man.
Well, and that's the thing. So they have all this data, but they never actually show video of like the same person at different ballot boxes putting stuff in. And so you're like, well, you have videos. Well, can't you find the same person doing it over here? And they don't provide you that. And they don't tell you like, well, there's a Panda Express. It's like going to Panda Express.
Right.
They don't tell you who the nonprofits are that they went to or that they're going to.
Oh, they don't
No,
do it?
they don't review.
Did you watch it?
No, I read a nice analysis
Oh,
about
okay.
it. It was really cool. It was a counterpoint. It was basically like, here's what it says, here's what people say, and it was actually one of those like middle of the road news arguments. It was like, oh, this is really fascinating. And so there are some things on it, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. Other things are like, yeah, they really need to explain that more.
Yeah.
And so it piques an interest. Like,
Doesn't
oh,
give you
there's something
the-
there, but there's a
Yeah.
lot more questions that need to be answered for it to be there.
I don't see anybody who makes this argument who doesn't have a political axe to grind.
That's the problem.
So show me somebody out there who's neutral on this shit. I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, but,
you can't find it. So
yeah, but Patrick, this is part of the problem. And I'm not pointing the finger at you. Not at all.
Sure.
It's all your
Okay.
fault.
No.
I'll take blame for it.
No.
Donald Trump.
It's not.
Burn his votes myself.
Well, that would be an axe to grind.
Yeah. All
Just kind of-
right, there we go.
The thing is, what I can specifically point you toward was the same thing with, okay, when it came down to what was reported, say like out of the Biden laptop story, okay, at the same time, the only people that supported it had a political axe to grind, and the same people that denied it had a political axe to grind, but it turned out that was all 100% certifiably true, and the major sources said, no, this is crap.
At first, but see, like my point is that if there's something legit going on there, regardless of whether or not you have a political axe to grind in the beginning, it's going to get sniffed out eventually. The fact that this has been going on for 2 years now, and the only people still doing it are people who have political axe to grind, it's a shutdown moment for me, man.
But the thing is, the Biden stuff only came out a couple of weeks ago as verifiable, even though it was only people with political axes to grind to expose it.
No, there were quite a few guys out there snooping on that one, trying to suss the entire story out. So,
I would say, I think from the beginning, I think it was pretty clear it was true that they were just trying to hide it.
yeah.
Specifics.
Well, and specifically because the very first time it came out, they didn't deny that it was his laptop.
No.
They said it was Russian.
Oh, of course they said that stuff. But the thing that you say, if it's not your laptop, you say it's not my fucking laptop.
Yeah.
They never said that right off the bat. And so that was one of those things where it's like, okay, are you going to deny this? Well, they didn't know.
Well, the course of it at first was they claimed that the person who gave over the information to the owner, he had a political axe to grind. Okay. Then they said that this information, if it comes out at all, is obtained through improper sources. Like that has anything to fucking do with it, right? That's what I'm saying is the axe grinding buried the story at the time period that it would have been the most impactful.
Well, maybe it buried it at the time, but still there were...
And that's deliberate.
I get that. And I would totally expect that from either camp to try and do that in a situation like that. Absolutely. All right? So you're going to try and spin that one way or another, bury a story, especially if it has the potential to be that dangerous. The thing is that the thing was legit enough up front to actually get some serious people to start snooping on it. And that's where it went over the course of the next year. Eventually, we got some of the emails. You know, if these are fake, they're really, really, really well done, you know? And then they started looking, well, no, that's actually his photos on this thing. And so then you started finding a lot of other things about it. It's just, you're not going to see that on the op-ed page in the New York Times. So, but it was there.
And in defense of that,
I get that.
In defense of that, it has come out. Even the New York Times admits that it's true now.
Yeah,
2 years.
Whereas,
I get that.
but whereas the election stealing concept still is not.
It's not even close to it.
Well, no, I totally understand that. And look, you're never. I'm just put it this way: there's whatever information you're going to find. Okay, if there was anything like that that could have been verifiable, that is 100% gone. Okay,
Yeah, sure.
There's no way you're going to get to that. Okay, at this point, that would have been super destroyed, gone by now if there were.
What, election fraud?
Yes.
How long do they keep ballots for?
Oh,
See, that's my
it's not a
point behind
question
this thing.
of how long they keep ballots for.
Yeah.
It's a question of the information that was there. Okay,
Yeah.
they can have them.
Yeah.
All right, and they can say these are real, but how did they get here? Where do they come from? Okay, you can find and say every single one of these is real. Okay.
Well, and see, that's what I want to find out. And nobody kind of gets that. It was like, show me dupe ballots. So that would be the easiest thing.
They can't,
Why not?
because there aren't any.
Okay.
Well,
So then the natural conclusion is there's not really that much election fraud.
No. And that's kind of the question too, is what people are calling like stolen election fraud. Is ballot harvesting in a state where ballot harvesting is illegal?
Is that election
Is that
fraud?
election fraud? Because I still grabbed all I didn't make fake ballots. I didn't do anything. I literally grabbed legitimate ballots from people and took them myself to the fucking place. Now I broke the law, but is that fraud? Is that a stolen election? I would argue no.
See, the thing is that, like, in all these instances, I mean, just from the very beginning of it, it was like, all right, do an audit on this one. Because obviously, if you're going to tip the election, you're not going to stuff the ballot boxes because that's really easy to prove that you did that. You're going to burn the ones that other people voted on. And so that...
And that's why, like, the ballot harvesting is a sketchy thing, practice. Because you give people the chance to be like, oh, you were a Republican? You know, yeah. But nobody's come out and said, like, here's a ballot, there's a dead person. That dead person.
Yeah,
here's a dead person.
one of those.
No, they have found
They
those.
did have.
Yeah.
But how many?
Not many.
No,
Thousands and thousands.
There always will be.
some.
It's like 5.
But this whole thing where, like, you know, they stuff like 100,000 votes.
You can't do that, man.
Like,
You would get
so there
caught
should be
so fucking fast.
100,000 completely illegitimate ballots. Like John Smith voted 3 times, you know, or whatever. And they haven't shown that. And what a lot of people, and that's what the mules thing is, it never touches upon that anybody was doing anything truly fraudulent, like fake filling out ballots, creating fake ballots. It was literally that people were doing practices that are illegal, like ballot harvesting. And well, that's the question. Or, you know, the times, like, you know, you had courts extending deadlines for voting,
Right.
When by law courts couldn't do that.
Yeah, okay. See, that's more legit.
And it's like, okay, so that's, but is that a stolen election when you let legitimate people who are allowed to vote just give them a little more time? I mean, it's hard to get really.
That one you'd probably have to hash out in the courts. So
You would, but say it happens. I mean, so say the court illegally gave another week for people to vote. But the people who still voted were legitimate electors, voters who could vote. They just took time and they didn't get it in on by the deadline. It's still hard to get really angry about a legitimate vote.
Well, the
you know?
problem is we've sort of settled this. This was settled in 2000 because
There are 9 people who are going to decide this for us.
because ultimately the problem with that is, when they said, all right, so if this is the case, and these are people legitimately doing this, but this was a mistake, they said, all right, well then why don't we have a second election? Because you can't do that, because the problem is you cannot have a second election with the results of the first election not tainting the...
Well, and the other thing too is you always have to remember the remedy for what you're perceiving happened. So, what is the remedy for you extended the time and allowed people who are legitimately allowed to vote extra time to vote? Is it to throw out the entire election and start over? Because now you're disenfranchising everybody who voted legally.
Correct.
And so the remedy also has to match the crime, and so no court was going to say like, okay, so they extended the time, they shouldn't have, throw the fucking votes away, let's start over. If you have like, look, I found 100,000 illegal ballots, okay, we're going to throw this away and start over.
Yeah, or at least you, Michigan, have to redo your
versus hey, these people got an extra week to vote, and that sucks. Like, we're not going to throw out the whole election for that.
Yeah.
And I don't get heartburn over legit votes. I know you didn't meet a deadline, and I think you need to enforce deadlines. I think you need to enforce rules. I agree with that. But I'm not calling an election stolen because you just gave lazier people more time to vote.
Well, if you're doing this in a way where, let's say, okay, now with the mail-in voting, there's no version of this where I can say you need more time. You have plenty of time. You get it in advance.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
If it's not in there by that time, fuck it.
You can drop it off on election day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So I get no. If you're talking about election day, then what I can argue is, all right, you know what? I can take a look at a lot of guys. I've worked at jobs where they're like, legally they have to let you go, right? But sometimes you just can't. Sometimes it's just not feasible, right?
No matter how many asses you've grabbed around here.
Yes. And so, honestly, if they did a thing where it was like, all right, so here's how this works. This is election week, Monday through Friday. Okay, you come on one of the days that's open, but there will be no polling data released.
Right. Yeah, but that's like always determined at the state level, man. And so each Secretary of State determines the own election rules in each state. So I can see how you could get like certain states to agree to that because they could see that would be in their interest, and then others would be like, no, fuck that. So
no, but if we're talking,
you got to show up on Tuesday, like everybody else.
If we're talking about a way to do this that is designed with like fairness in mind, okay, versus the potential problems that you've discussed here, like do they extend it? Is that fair? Is that fair to people that does that change the type of electorate that would come out if they had extended time? These are all hypothetical.
I've seen like so many arguments for and against that one in particular. That like actually changing voting structures actually changes like electoral politics with an individual state.
Right.
And I've seen just as many things that say, well, actually no, and there's many examples where an election did change. Okay, so the state changed its rules or something like that. It didn't fucking change a goddamn thing. Democrats didn't show up. Fewer Republicans didn't stay home. It was the same, man. So,
to me, there's a lot of 6 one way, half a dozen the other almost idea.
Yeah, it kind of seems like it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. So,
but what I can tell you is that all right. So we were talking about basically the media's role in this, basically whether they're complicit. What I can also tell you is the sheer amount of Twitter accounts that were either flagged or suspended because they were told this is disinformation. You will stop talking about this. I can tell you that there's a ton that talked about COVID things that all disintegrated. Yeah. Okay. Especially when they found out later, like, well, this was true. This was true. This was true.
Yeah.
And we cut off
rumor. Yeah.
And we right. And this is the thing: is you're talking about.
Might make you poop, Tony, but
everything has side effects, Spencer.
That's true.
Okay,
at my age, everything makes me poop funny.
Okay. I have a fin.
You have a fin?
Yes.
Why do you have a fin? What have you been taking?
I connected. No, it's No, I have awesome aquatic dynamics.
Yeah, sure.
But no, this is the thing is, you do have a side on this that's complicit in this.
Sure.
Right? And that's especially problematic. This is where, like, yeah, you do have to sort of, you have to look into this. It's the same thing when you talked about, I haven't seen this except with people that have a political axe to grind. That's axe grinding.
Yeah, no,
Even though it was completely true.
I take your point. So,
I don't think you do.
I guess not.
Why don't we take this outside?
Oh no, man, that's too far. Just flip your table over now. You know? So, no, I get it.
Yeah,
Man.
of course there's going to be an axe to
Of course, there's going to be an axe to grind. So, but okay, so like my thing with the whole election fraud thing is that it would be a bombshell of a story if it was true. And so, like, you know, this is like a career-making, like, you grabbed Edward Snowden kind of moment.
Oh, this is
know.
Woodward and Bernstein times a million.
Oh, well, maybe.
Yeah, it would be, because it means that an entire party was complicit on it on so many levels of infiltration.
Right,
to
and see,
actually
that,
make that
and when you
happen.
get to that point in time where you have to make that, you have to meet that conditional in order for this to be true,
Right.
I can't buy it. So
Not even
I
remotely.
can't buy that there's 10,000 people that just shut the fuck up about this. No way, man. So,
I wish, because I wish humans were that competent, but I know humans aren't even
I,
remotely
think
that competent.
I think humans are that competent. I don't think organizations are that competent. So-
Well, no, but I mean, organizations are
Something
staffed
like
by
that,
humans.
yeah. No, I get it.
I actually find humans to be quite incompetent.
no.
I mean, you can't get anything done. You put 5 people in a room to try to figure something out, and no one can figure out how to fucking do it.
Yeah, because more than 2 is
There's
an
a,
organization.
there's a reason that there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Like the instant it comes to like the instant I have 3 attorneys involved in anything, I'm like, we're never getting anywhere, and it's taking forever
Sounds
to
like
get
a
there.
faculty meeting.
Yeah,
Dude,
and
dude,
so like you have a situation where all of these different states, the battleground states, had to somehow coordinate and work together and figure out how many votes they were going to need to get Biden over the edge of this. Not a chance, dude.
There's too many drunk people
Not a
that
chance.
if you had a part to it,
Well,
wouldn't want to
Well,
say.
You know what?
And that's
Okay.
the money aspect.
and
too.
I'm sorry, you're relying on 2 places that I'm familiar with, Arizona and Michigan. No fucking way. No fucking way.
The other part is not just that you are forgetting about the other key component of this, right? Is that it's not just the drunk people that are going to fuck it up. It's that there's at least several guys in that organization who would have bragged about it to some
Oh, yeah.
chick,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Somebody would have tweeted about it.
Would have tried about it, but they would have tried to impress some girl who is like hardcore left. It's like, you think you're, you don't believe what I did? It's
Yeah.
like, what'd you do?
Isn't that the running theory on the Supreme Court league now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that shit happens.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
shit
yeah.
really happens.
Yes.
In terms of like people, like how did this get out? It's like, well, what'd you tell her?
What'd you tell her?
Like, shit. When they talk about how many times, like, how did these spies get this out of you? Well,
She was pretty.
Fucking
Yeah.
General Petraeus.
yeah,
Dude, honeypotting is a
Yeah.
I mean,
thing.
well, I mean, and think about like when I was practicing criminal law, like
Oh.
the amount of times I have no case but for the defendant just spilling his guts to the police officer. Like if you just shut up, you wouldn't be here. But no, there's this inherent like I want to tell people about what I did.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, unless you're in a clandestine service and paid specifically to keep shut up,
And
people don't shut up. No,
Yeah.
especially when someone dangles money in front of your face. Be like, hey, if you know something about this, I'll pay you $10,000. Like, oh, I know a lot about this. You know, and so it's just you just can't keep those kind of secrets. I mean, a small group of people can, but the massive and we're talking about. I mean, I don't know if you've ever worked with people who are actually in political parties who I always laugh at my buddy because if you ever watched the movie The Campaign with Will Smith and Zach
No, I haven't
Galifianakis,
seen that one.
I don't think I've seen that.
No,
So Will Smith is like
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell, yeah, not Will Smith.
Oh,
Will
okay,
Ferrell,
yeah.
Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis, and Will Ferrell is like
That's a
the
guarantee.
incumbent, like candidate, and so the Mox brothers, who are supposed to be like the Koch brothers, recruit Zach Galifianakis to run against him, and they bring in Dylan McDermott's character, and Dylan McDermott's character is like the shrewd politician. He political and manager, and so he's like gets the dogs and the paintings, and he gets everything right and does it. And then eventually through the movie, he gets tired, and the Mox brothers move over and support Will Ferrell's character, and so he moves over there and helps him win the election, kind of a thing. And it's this political shrewdness where it's this guy who's like so smart, like I can read, I know politics, like I'm basically above politics, like I don't really give a damn about your policies or anything. I just know how to win these things. And like for the longest time in my life, I'm like, that person exists out there. That everybody has, both teams have these. You have this political strategy. She's like, I'm just bad. And then you actually see people running and strategists and stuff. They're fucking morons. They're sycophantics or morons. They don't know whether they're Lincoln Project people. I mean, Lincoln Project guys all ran like Republican campaigns.
Lincoln Project.
And they are just garbage individuals and intelligence-wise. There's nobody. They're sycophant. They're like, we love this guy, this candidate.
Oh, are those the Max Boot kind of guys? The never Trump guys?
Yeah, they're
Okay,
like
all right.
Steve Schmidt, Rick Wilson,
because they were fucking irrelevant.
and Weaver, the guy who liked to touch boys, and use Lincoln Project for
I'd
it.
be surprised if he was the only one.
I would be too, honestly. But I mean, you read this and they're like, these aren't political strategists. These aren't intelligent people. They're not. There's no Dylan McDermott out there. They're all kind of sycophantic to the cause. And so, like, I love my candidate. They're the best person on the planet, and blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, so you don't know what you're doing. That's why you spend millions of dollars in 6 months to come up with UltraMAGA.
Right.
Because people don't actually know what they're doing in politics.
It's going to take someone about 5 minutes to do a mock-up cardboard costume cosplay UltraMAGA.
I'm fairly certain that's already out.
it's
If I recall
Probably got
earlier on
to do it,
today,
yeah.
I seem to recall like somebody like embroidered Ultra on their MAGA hat.
Yeah.
Because all that
They just use a black Sharpie.
they would also use a black. If I recall, I saw that earlier on today. Like, that didn't take long to diffuse. I mean, there are.
Some of the
I'm picturing the MAGA guy with like his sewing machine, like Ultra.
But yeah, I mean, seriously, if you want to talk about something that doesn't sell, it's like you take your standard MAGA person, like, did you just call me Ultra MAGA? I kind of like that better.
I know what I'm saying.
Well, that's the thing. Like branding wise, it's like you guys are just giving. Why are you giving Donald Trump so much better branding?
I know.
Like
He's not the president.
not the
He's
president.
he's
No.
not the job. But now you're making his what were regular MAGA guys. Now they feel like they're MAGA guys that can
MAGA.
shoot lightning.
with laser beams out of their eyes. But no, so the same people who spend 6 months and hundreds of thousands of dollars to pull to get to UltraMAGA are not running clandestine election rigging stolen campaigns to get elected anywhere.
All right. Let me just say this, okay? So we've all spent our time in the professional worlds. I think we've said this before. When you start getting to top positions, how many last names are the same, or people that were hired because they're brothers-in-laws or friends of this and this and that?
A lot.
Now, is that to say that you really went through the full gamut of employees and said, I really work with all of them. I put them all on the void comp machine to see if they weren't replicants? I don't think so. I think you said you did, but then you hired your brother-in-law. And
Pretty sure he's a replicant.
And I'm just saying, like, when you have that much incest, essentially, at, high levels, you have groupthink, you have people who don't, like, look, this is one of the things that I laugh about, especially when it comes to, like, we were talking about movie writing and things like this, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have dialogue or scripts that are so bad. And I know about the process. I'm like, this passed 7 sets of eyeballs, and they all said this is cool.
Yeah, this is how black people talk.
Right, exactly. And you say, like, I think so, huh?
Really?
It's like, all right, Mr. Goldstein, what was your average family income and where did you live?
Right.
It's like, does that really matter? It matters a ton.
It matters a lot.
Because
you
you're
better
writing-
not tell me Connecticut. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was the bad part of Connecticut. There is no bad part of Connecticut. Okay? Show me the hood in Connecticut. Okay? Yeah, it's stuff like that. And you know it. How many generations of Ahmeds did we have in one place?
That his name is repeated.
Correct.
Ahmed.
Ahmed?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So, yeah, if
He wasn't Indian, was he?
No, well, no.
No. Got it.
But yeah, that's the thing is there's always this level of like you talk about that fourth dimensional chess, that deliberate, that I see moves, 20 moves in advance. Like, yeah, I get it. All of you are the fucking Gary Kasparovs of politics. Whereas, yeah, it's the same thing we talk about, like, guys can't keep their mouth shut, right? If you had, like, everybody in the Illuminati can't be like the 10 top guys. You have to have a room of undergoons, right? And I guarantee you, because how many people try to flex the smallest amount of juice they have? Like when they're trying to get into a restaurant with a waiting list. Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
I park cars for the Illuminati. Right? Somebody's going to cough up some bullshit because they're just trying to impress somebody with some juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there goes most conspiracy theories. But
Yeah. What was the one that you gave me last week that was still standing?
my conspiracy theory is the current squeeze that they have about radicalizing as much Republican stuff as they can is they're trying to reinforce or basically do things that will get Democrats to leave,
Oh, yeah, to move. Yeah.
so that it's not as purple, right? Which is why they're going to radical policies, something where it's like, oh shit, no abortion here, we're done.
Yeah, we're done.
Fuck this
So,
thing.
fuck this. Sell my house.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen a little bit of information on that, but I mean, just most. I can't think of too many people who would move out of their state.
You're saying make your politics so extreme to drive out the other political party, kind of?
Yeah.
Force all the Republicans into certain states and all the Democrats.
Well, you don't have to do all of them. You just have to get enough of them, man.
Basically,
you
what-
get the state.
The idea here is
Force enough out of Arizona running the insane.
But wait a minute, that wouldn't work. Okay, because the only place you'd want to do that is in a place where you don't have any kind of power.
no, that's not true. It's
Where it's a
it's where you
50-50.
don't want it to flip. It's in places where
Oh, so you want to lock down the fort?
right. So if you can get
So if you can make Alabama that much weirder.
well, no. Basically, like so, if you could convince some Democrats to leave Maricopa, right? If you can convince some Democrats, Arizona, Maricopa County.
that's right.
If you can convince some of those people to leave Boise, if you can convince some of those people to leave some of the strongholds, because right now, California's not going to flip red.
Nope.
It's just not going to happen.
No.
Okay. But if enough Californians leave California, it will still be solidly blue, but they can flip parts of Alabama where they could flip.
Oh, I
parts
see
of-
it. Yeah, okay.
So shore it up. Say Democrats not welcome. If you want to abort babies, you won't do it here. Leave. Okay.
Yeah. No, I can see it. I just, like, I don't think the RNCC would actually be able to overrule, like, a state Republican committee on something. So they say, well, we're going to do this grand strategy here, and so we're going to try and get people to go to Alabama, so we need you guys to pass really, really crazy laws down here. I don't think that they would actually have that kind of influence.
Well, here's the
know.
thing. I don't have a shred of like, I don't have a single office memo. I don't have a
Right,
recorded
yeah.
phone call.
Yeah.
What I do have is I do have places that have started saying, okay, no, they could do nothing and be like, this is fine. But they're saying, okay, actually, no. Trans athletes stay in their lane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
You-
how many states have that now? Isn't it like 10 or 12?
it's a growing thing.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
could have
yeah.
done nothing, right?
Yeah.
But they did, and you have basically like the extreme polarization that DeSantis is doing, and I think that's part of a get out of Florida. New Yorkers stay out.
No, that's still, he's playing national politics. He's trying to rally the
Yeah, I
base to
think
become
he's trying to
president.
run.
No, I agree with that too,
Yeah.
but I think there are two things happening at the same time.
Yeah, that might be true.
Are you saying like California is setting up these most extreme left things so that it's too much for the Democrats that live there to tolerate it, so they're spreading out to infiltrate the other place, like Texas.
Well, so
Try
here,
and flip Texas.
here's the thing: is the migration from California and New York. Okay, let me just put it this way: is going to be cost more than anything else. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the cost of those places doesn't cause people to say like fuck leftist politics. It's like I can't afford to live here.
Right.
I go to Texas, and now I'm still voting. I'll vote Democrat.
Okay, I'll move to Austin. I'll make this more blue. I'll go here. And that's the thing. Them leaving won't make California any more red.
Right.
It will
Yeah.
not make New York any more red. But the other places, because they have such smaller populations, and it doesn't cost $1 million to live there. They're like, I only need so many of you to come from here.
Yeah.
And now what was
State.
I can see how even the state, like RNC, would actually protect itself that way.
I mean,
Look at all these fucking migrants we got coming from California, man. We better ban abortion. Yeah, all right. That's not that much of a leap, dude.
Well, and the only reason I'm saying that is because as of right now, if they manage to push some people out of the swing states right now, okay, it doesn't matter what the popular vote is.
Yeah.
They'll win every presidential election. They proved it. Okay, if you control this area, I have to write this off. I have to write this off. But if I guarantee this via basically uninhabitable policies for this group,
Presidential politics are different, though, man. So it's like so rando anymore. Like, I mean, there hasn't been dominance from one party since
the Romney election.
no, God knows, since like 1870. So,
Wait, what do you mean dominance from one
what does that
party?
mean?
well, they have like more than 4 presidential wins in a row.
Oh,
Yeah, you don't never see that. Like, last one that we saw was Reagan, Bush.
yeah, it would have been. Yeah, that would have been the closest one.
Yeah,
And that was only one Bush.
that was only one Bush.
But well, it's true because I mean,
It was an old Bush, but
well, I mean, what we do is we get the president in, and they run the presidency. We hate the person in power, and you switch it over. I mean, the best thing that can happen to any political party is not be in power.
yeah, the Republicans seem to enjoy it a lot.
we
Yeah.
had a pretty
So
good
they seem to
talk.
really enjoy it.
It's
It's like Mitch McConnell's favorite thing.
he likes being an obstructionist. Well, the problem is when you're in power, you actually have to do shit,
Yeah, that's true.
and you get blamed for it. And so when you get blamed for it, then you don't like it. And so it's much easier to be like, oh, I don't.
Well, yeah, you don't have to drive
mean-
the bus. You get to throw rocks at
No, I mean the best thing is
way more
the
fun.
best thing Donald Trump did for Republicans was he energized him, and then he was so terrible he lost, and then he was even more terrible after he lost that he got himself to Georgia lose, and so and so he gave the Democrats basically complete power without a filibuster power,
Yeah.
and watch them just run everything into the ground.
Yeah.
And all they can do is like, well, it's those UltraMAGA folks who did it. And I'm like, yeah, whoops. The best thing that happens for the out of power parties is you're out of power. Once you get in power, you have to do stuff.
No, it's, yeah.
And
I don't know. I mean, like, the Democrats will keep saying that. They'll blame that, but they got to look at their own left wing. So,
They do, but they won't. I mean,
No, they won't.
You can do that internally, maybe, but you can't
Yeah.
say that externally. Externally, it has to be the other team. Like, we're
Yeah.
doing fine.
no.
Like, this
no,
economy is
no,
great.
no.
It's amazing, and it's only because of UltraMAGA people, it would have been better. That's all you can do.
Putin price hike.
That's all you can do is you have to. It
It was
has to be.
COVID before then, and it was.
It has to be externalities. Unless something good happens, then of course.
Oh, yeah, of course. I did
yeah.
that. Yeah. I made this.
Well, we're also talking about a very big shifting of what it takes to actually be an embarrassment for your party, right? Because we're not.
It doesn't even exist.
Yeah, so the last guy kind of set an example.
Yeah, because,
he
like-
put that fence post a lot further than it was a couple years ago.
Yeah, so 40 years ago, it's like, dude, you went out of your house in a t-shirt.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
like, and it wasn't tucked in.
yeah.
Right,
So-
and then we saw that kind of flip where.
Oh, you can play the saxophone. You're cool.
Well, you had
I want my
one-
president to be my buddy.
You had, one party like jump on this. It's like, dude, did you actually like use your power to get your dick wet? And he's like, Yeah, everyone does, but I got caught.
Yeah, I got caught.
But since that was like exonerated and basically put out in the open, now it's like, all right, well, shit happens.
Shit
right?
happens.
And then you kind of walk it down, a little bit later on. Now you are where we are. It's like, did he urinate on this person? Is that bad? Is that, oh, was that a crime? I don't recall. I thought this was America, right? So there's a.
That was probably one of the stupidest pieces of anti-Trump. The P
I
tape.
know.
Everybody was running around like crazy looking for the P tape. So did you know anything about Donald Trump? He would find that disgusting.
I know.
Oh God, yeah, he's a
Well,
fucking
he's a germaphobe, man.
Yeah,
Like, it
So-
could have happened, but it was not on purpose. It's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
So
Oh
sorry.
my God.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not a young man anymore. So, I get that. This is, if it was a prostate issue, it'd be like, this is a medical emergency.
Right, yeah.
It's like, it's not a tape. So our expectations when it comes to what we want out of our politicians in terms of the things that we say that should be representing us, right?
Yeah.
We don't get that, or at least
Oh, we've gotten a couple times here and there. So we've had a few presidents that I was like, yeah, that's the president. That's cool. So, not the last one. The current one's kind of a,
Space cadet.
yeah.
fucking train wreck.
I don't think he's a train wreck. I think he's a
total.
How can you
Fucking
be
asshole.
any more of a train wreck? The only thing you can do with
I
Biden
think
is like,
Biden's an asshole.
Yes,
oh God, he's a
What did he
raging
do?
asshole.
complete ass.
Really? What does he do? I don't know anything about this.
Oh, dude, he's a complete asshole.
To who?
Really?
Yeah, really.
Oh yeah, no, he's
I thought he was a nice guy.
no,
Oh,
he's very
Grandpa Joe.
yeah, he's
I
grandpa.
guess. I don't know, man. So
this is that
Barack Obama
quote.
spoke well of him. So
Sort of.
Not really.
didn't like him.
Barack Obama said that never was it? Obama said never underestimated Joe's ability to fuck things up.
Yeah.
I've heard him say that. I've never heard someone make the argument that Joe Biden was like some mastercraft politician.
No, he's not.
No, I
he's
get
a
that.
complete idiot.
But I didn't think he was a jerk.
Oh, he's a jerk.
This is the argument where people say like because Ellen DeGeneres is nice on her show. But it turns out that she's one of the most raging assholes in the business, but she plays nice on TV. Dude,
So what has he done? Give me an example. I'm curious now.
okay, well, all right. So
He's been called out by former employees or things like that, or what?
what in terms of
Being an asshole.
are you just talking about? All right, this is my question to you when I'm saying this. All right, because all right, so this is also going to include who he puts on his staff, their general attitude, the attitudes that he allows them to represent for himself. Well, I'd already reserved the term screeching hag for Hillary Clinton, so I'm not going to reapply it. I'm not going to reapply it to the MSM redhead, okay? But I will say, like, all he would have had to say is, like, can you fucking cool it? He would say, like, do you have to be a confrontational bitch every time that somebody, like, asks you a question, right? So that's part of the representation of the office. The other part of this, too, is, like, every single bit of criticism is like,
Okay, but that's Jen Psaki. That's not Biden.
no, I'm talking about him now.
Yeah, but when he calls people fat, I mean, he blows
Does he do
up.
that?
He blows up on people who challenge him and ask questions.
Well, I know that he's blown up on people when they ever ask him about Hunter. I've seen that happen. But I haven't seen it happen on other
He
things.
blows up on a fair amount. I mean, even his speeches are very yelling.
They're curt. They're insulting. The whole attitude of like, "Come on, man." Okay, that's one incident, but that's his manner of speech.
Okay.
That's his like, I can't be bought. What are you stupid?
That's his go-to phrase.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I didn't really get that impression. So, but I mean, I was so colored by the previous guy who just couldn't fucking breathe right for me to actually look in his direction.
No,
He would tell you that he doesn't like you.
I
and
know,
then say
man, but,
offensive
like,
stuff. Like
all
this
right.
one, he's trying to be.
I get that.
politician,
I get that. But, there has never been a president I was ashamed to call my president until him.
The one in charge right now is.
I get that.
Oh, I'm ashamed he's my president.
I
was
don't think
ashamed
he's
Trump
ever
was my
raped
president.
anybody. I think there's definitely a non-zero probability that Donald Trump's done that.
Do I think Joe Biden raped somebody? Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
Who?
Well, I mean,
Do I know her personally? No, but
Well,
there
no,
was
it's come out though, man. So like,
yeah, there actually has been that lady who came out.
number of
Biden?
allegations.
Yeah.
Yes.
really?
Yeah, what the hell's their name? They like.
That's what I say. I don't remember their names, but here's the thing: if you're going by that logic, the number of ones that were proved for Donald Trump, also a goose egg.
Yeah, I know.
But the allegations came out like crazy, like his former campaign staffers.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, all right. Well, I don't watch Fox News, so I don't get all those stories.
Dude, it wasn't a Fox News thing.
Where was it then?
Dude, that was a
don't watch
huge
Fox
election
News
issue.
either.
Look, this is what I'm talking about when it came like the media issue, right? Mm-hmm. It was fucking believe all women until you don't.
Yeah. Because that is what Fox News is bringing out. They're like, the left side media is so
Okay.
And they
capping
buried it.
all the
Yeah,
different
okay.
people that would bring up the woman.
All right. Well, maybe I got a plan on as far as that one's going.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And they buried it.
No, I forgot what her name is, but yeah, she accused him, and it's never been resolved. No, she might be lying. I don't know.
Of course she could be. And
Yeah.
And my thing is, if I had to pick between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who probably raped somebody, I'd be on Donald Trump in a fucking heartbeat.
Yeah,
I would not
put
bet
my
against
money,
either
yeah.
one of them.
But I wouldn't bet against either. I mean, I was embarrassed that Donald Trump was my president. I'm embarrassed that Joe Biden's my president. They're both trash. I mean, you went from trashy orange dude to like
Yeah.
potentially worse senile dude.
Well, see, the senile part is the part that actually I don't really worry about. So,
That, I actually concerned about that.
Yeah.
because I actually think he is. He is not all
I
mentally
mean, I
there.
don't know. I get that, but I don't think. I mean, if Donald Trump couldn't ride the horse that he climbed up on in 2016, fully lucid and in command of his entire faculties, I don't think Joe Biden's actually going to do anything over the course of his presidency. No, I'm fine with that.
This is my problem.
Oh, I wish he hadn't done things. I mean, if he would have came in and did just what he said, where he's like, "I'm just going to be cool," be like, "Right on, man,
Yeah.
go be cool." But he didn't.
My issue is I
Well,
think
he hasn't got anything really passed or anything.
look,
Well, just the infrastructure thing, right?
No, he hasn't. But I'm talking about his
Nominees
rhetoric and
and
the administration rhetoric
his
has been
nominees.
just atrocious.
What do you mean as nominees?
like to the Supreme Court.
Have we haven't had one yet, have we?
Ketanji, I mean,
Oh, that's right. That's right. We just did have one. You're right.
And she's a fucking idiot. And
Is
it
she?
was strictly ideologically based.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
All right, so let me put it this way, okay? So when you talk about the dangers of being senile in the office, okay, it's not about him. I think he knows he's senile. The problem is that gives the
everybody else.
assholes, the other idiots in the background, way too much sway, because somebody with their capacity to be like,
Yeah.
all right, the argument here is they're saying is, look, there's no version of this where just one, like, somebody that had, like, undue sway would be like, dude, you got to stick with this whole, I'm only going to go with these kind of people for these positions, right? Because the more high profile you make some of the things, the more it's radicalized or causing, backlash against. This is going to cost us elections, and you didn't need to do it.
Yeah, I think it is
Right?
going to cost him an election.
But
So,
somebody in full capacity would have been like, nah, put the clamps on that. We have enough, right? But the
oh,
fact
maybe.
that
I don't know. So, the
he's
reason.
not that progressive. He never was.
No, he isn't, but you know why he did that. So, in that particular place,
Which particular one?
with the Supreme Court nominee, said we're going to nominate a woman of color. Do you know why he did that?
Did me?
Bernie Sanders challenged him to it in the debate. So he said, will you commit to this? And he was like, yep. So, okay.
That's the thing is like
It's not real leadership, right?
No, I guess it's not real leadership, but still at the same point.
But he's done that for.
He's not going to be able to
I mean,
deliver on any
the
of it.
Fed chair. You had a spokesperson talking about like, well, we have a new person on the Fed who's a black woman, and this will bring. Yeah, she's got pointed to it, and he was running around screaming about like, look, a black woman on this, and eventually it's like, and even it was actually funny. Martha McCallum on Fox News was like, what does her being black have to do with anything?
No, nothing.
Is she good at the job? Does she know what she's doing? Because all you people haven't done anything. Your Fed has been slow to react, and it's atrocious anyway. And you're reacting slow, and you're still reacting slow. You guys pump money into the system like it's going the fuck out of style, and wonder why there's inflation. And then then you guys turn around and spend $40 billion more to send fucking Ukraine just on inflation. And you know, you have what?
I don't really buy the Fed, you know, having that much of an impact on inflation right now.
Sure does. You decrease the money supply in the system by raising interest rates, and you shove inflation into the ground. Now you generate recession, but you have to choose.
They're going to through two different means. So the one that nobody hears about is them just actually retiring assets off the books right now.
Yes.
So because people are like, well, where does the money goes, and they don't like the answer. So behind that one. And so, but the inflation is, it's like, it's been over a year since we've seen stimulus from the feds. And it's the 60 or 70 cargo ships that are consistently parked out of Shanghai right now. That's actually causing most of the inflation. I don't think Joe Biden can do shit about that.
Oh my God, man, you can't pump so much money into the system and not have inflation. You have more money out there than the product. Just because the cargo ships are out there, that means you don't pump more money into the system. But we keep pumping more money into the system. And so you have to do something.
What do you mean pumping money into the system? We haven't gotten any stimulus in over a year.
Stimulus, or you basically have the Fed bond interest rates. You have interest rates real low and issue
raise
bonds.
Rates.
I know that's what you do to get rid. You buy back that money. You get the money out of the system.
Right, you suck it back.
The Fed was slow to get the money out of the system, so we pumped a bunch of money in the system.
Yeah.
The Fed doesn't pull that money out in time.
Yeah.
You get inflation because there's more money, more dollars chasing lesser goods.
Yeah.
And so you have cargo ships out there. That's not helping. The supply chain ain't helping. But you then don't dump more money. You don't increase. Unemployment benefits. You don't dump stimulus checks.
Done that.
And we did a long fucking time ago,
Yeah, it was during the COVID pandemic. I'm saying that the inflation that we're seeing right now is somewhat disconnected from that.
$40 billion to Ukraine.
That's nothing.
Well, actually,
that's good.
I mean,
It's nothing compared to what was spent on COVID measures.
Oh, absolutely.
no, I mean, you spend trillions of dollars. And
Absolutely.
So you dump that much money into the system, and you've destabilized everything. You've destabilized housing markets, stock markets, bond markets, crypto markets. Everything is destabilized to the point that literally investors are sucking every bit of money out and being like, I'm not investing in shit right now because nothing has stability. I don't know where the interest rates is going for bonds. Those are gone.
I don't know about that. So,
what do you disagree with on that?
I mean, like, you think investors are retreating from every, like...
They literally are.
Yes.
Like, what about housing? Housing is still up, and it's going up even further.
It's slowing down because the rates are...
And new starts are difficult to make. So, but that doesn't mean that investment in housing is slowing down. That just means new housing starts are down.
No, investment in housing is slowing down. Investment in housing, stocks, bonds, crypto.
I'll talk about crypto, and I can tell you.
I know about crypto.
Goddamn vacuum on there. That is.
You're running in a situation where no one knows where to put their money because there's so much uncertainty. There's so much extra money out there. The interest rates are going up. We don't know if it's going to be a recession. We don't know if it's going to flip over into a depression.
I guarantee you. Well, I can't guarantee, but I'm about 90% convinced we're going to see a recession. So,
I think we're already in one.
Well, yeah, technically. So, you know, two consecutive quarters of contraction in GDP. So, the inflation thing now, man, I'm going to ascribe about 80% of that to supply chain woes. It really is that bad. So, it really is that bad.
Wait, here's my question. What have you been trying to get that you haven't been able to get?
Well, okay, so not necessarily me, anything out there necessarily trying to get, you know, like the lack of toilet paper or something.
No,
I'm certainly not buying baby formula.
Yeah, baby formula, I understand. And I understand there are multiple issues, you know, surrounding that, regarding, you know, like health things and other things like that. But my question is, what is it that Americans right now, you're talking about supply chain issues, what are Americans struggling to get other than like Xboxes and PlayStation 5s?
Yeah.
Anything that's not microchip related.
Okay, that's a big one.
But
so
that's the thing is, that's actually cooled down.
Yeah.
And that's only one sector of the market. What is it that people can't get that they want to get that would increase the price? Because here's the problem I have, right?
You have transportation costs because fuel's going through the roof. And of course, the administration's doing nothing to help that either.
And also, in theory, let me ask you about this, is when you're talking about basically essentially like expanding money into this, and you're seeing the stock market do this, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't the excess amount of money also encourage like extra investment? Shouldn't the market actually be going like this?
Maybe
people to have extra money to invest.
Maybe. So it depends on like kind of how you view how the stock market is correlated to the rest of the economy.
Well, there's a crypto market. I mean, if people are pulling out.
Crypto market's kind of like more so related to tech now, so or at least that's the running theory.
I remember in BlackRock too. There's the gossip about BlackRock showing
Right.
showing short on Bitcoin to fuck it up.
Assholes. So-
And look, part of that too is so safe Bitcoin, so safe the rest, plus or minus, the.
And then you
they're kind of
and then you also have
man. It's weird, man.
And then you also have the rally sells. So you know, it starts to go back up. Everybody freaks out and they sell. Because now I get my money as much as I can out of it, and then it drops it, and then it goes up a little bit, and everybody freaks out and sells. And so you're just having a destabilization. There's nowhere to put your money that's safe right now. And so the best thing to do is just have it in cash and hold on to it until there's some level of stability.
I think.
I mean,
And if it was supply chain,
I don't think anybody's going to go.
What are we short on?
I don't know the answer to that. Okay, so I'm telling you what I've heard from other economists. Okay, so they're basically taking a look at fundamentals in the economy. They say, all right, any inflation that we would have seen from stimulus over the last year or so, it would have come already. Okay, a lot of that was soaked up by wage inflation at that point in time. Okay, and so as wages come up, all right, that's what's causing a lot of the inflation domestically that we see, that and energy prices as well. But then it's compounded by the fact that we import so many things from around the world. Okay, and the problem is, like particularly with China right now, we're shipping them back empty containers like crazy. We don't get them back anymore because they can't get through the port of Shanghai or down there in Shenzhen. And so the fundamental issue is, like, we don't necessarily know exactly what aspects of the economy you and I are going to manifestly see, other than just in, like raising meat prices and things like that, which can directly take back towards like increasing wages domestically and energy prices as well. But the manufacturing chain, it's got a little ways to go before you start seeing things stop coming out of the back end of the pipeline. And so we have yet to see exactly what they'll be. And so it's anticipation that's actually driving up a lot of the prices too. So people are stocking up when they can. So, and I'm not talking about you and me, I'm talking about Best Buy.
But what are they stocking up on?
I don't know.
There's nothing that I'm telling you. There's nothing that you can't get that you don't want.
Yeah.
well,
that doesn't
but it's
speak to
related. I mean, we
blockchain.
pumped way too much money into the system to start with.
Just because you can't get it doesn't necessarily mean there's not a supply chain issue. The fact that it's more expensive speaks to the supply chain issue.
Well, yes, I understand that, but this is
Because you're paying to buy up the scarcity. So
right. I understand that, but again, that would apply based off your the essentially trade deficit. If we're talking about that here.
yeah.
If that's the case, then why is inflation so high across places like Germany, right? Because they're not as important.
Is their inflation high too?
Huge?
Yeah, but they're an exporter nation though too. So
Actually, around the world, inflation is pretty high.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
for China.
The problem is,
Well, we don't know.
Fake.
but the thing that, and I guess the thing that the economists that I've read is the inflation around the world is pretty much commensurate, except for the United States, is pinnacle on top of it. And it's because the United States dumped way too much money into the system, more than anybody else.
Yeah. Well,
so-
did we do more than the ECB?
Oh, yeah.
Like by how much? Do you know?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be kind of curious.
No, and so
like
I mean,
we
you
didn't
even
wage
have
protection here,
Obama's
so-
economists and even Biden's economists now have said, like, yeah, we did too much. We shouldn't have done that last
No, I
year.
agree. There was probably a
And
little
so
bit too much.
the idea is, I mean, we're at what, 8.3% inflation, where
Yeah, it's
if they
gonna-
hadn't done it, you'd be more like around 6.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so you have the situation where you dump way too much money in the system. The whole world is running into an issue of supply chains, which does the lesser a product, the more demand, the more money chasing after less goods is inflation. And then you have us. We stagnated the employment market and paid people to not go to work. So you forced employers to up their salaries and up their raises for everybody. So you pump more money into the system that way, which inflates everything up. And then you run into a supply chain at the back end of way too much stimulus. Now you're in a supply chain issue, and that's what needs to be taken care of. The money needs to be taken out of the system. The supply chain needs to be brought back up.
Yeah, I think they're going to do that.
Oh, they're doing it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the Fed is working on it. The Fed should have just just straight up raising 2% and just said, screw it.
I
Take
think
that Band-Aid off
the
right
actual
now.
stake in the heart will be them just retiring all those assets. So, yeah, but they're not going to say anything about that, man.
No, that's backdoor stuff.
Yeah, that's
you don't
backdoor
talk about
shit.
how you get that money out of the system. But
Delete it.
But I guess it's become this amalgam and conglomeration of just incompetence all around. People can't see what's coming down the road. You know, I mean,
Do you think Jerome Powell's that bad?
I don't think he's all that great.
Okay.
If you didn't
I don't think
see
he's
this coming,
dangerous,
if you don't
man.
see this coming, and the
Yeah.
problem is the Fed has become too political also.
It has.
And so the Fed doesn't want to mess up the politics for
Yeah.
those in charge. And so they don't want to raise interest rates. They should have been raising interest rates during Trump's presidency when the economy was kicking ass. That's when you start moving up the interest rates. That
We
way,
never do that.
We never do that.
no,
Never
because you
happens.
stall the economy a little bit,
Yeah.
and it pisses
They never
it.
do that.
But the problem is, the idea is when the economy goes bad, your saving grace is you can drop your interest rate, and that re-stimulates the economy.
But
If you don't have
never
that,
do that.
if you don't have the ability to drop it because you're at zero when it gets bad,
I know.
then your only choice is, and that's what they've done now. We ran into this herd where
They're also
it's,
supposed to raise taxes when they.
yes,
Absolutely. No, you're
never
absolutely
ever
right.
do
But,
that.
but there's this. There's two things. Number one, it's unpopular. Number two, it's also like, wait a second. I have a great thing going here, and what you're telling me is to say, "Whoa, slow down, guys. I think you all drank a little bit too much."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Some of
never
y'all
want
need
to
to drive
slow down.
home. Okay. So if we cut you off now, okay, you guys don't have to take taxes.
and that was actually one of the most amazing things that Bill Clinton during his time did, was he raised taxes during the dot-com boom.
I don't.
And it actually,
I cannot give that man credit for
coincidental.
anything. Yeah.
I'm not saying it was. I'm not saying he did it pressing like I know what I'm doing. But it was. They actually raised during the dot-com boom.
yeah.
They actually raised taxes, and it slowed the economy down. And it was actually brilliant. It needed to happen. It wasn't done intentionally. But we don't follow. And that's the thing. And the Fed has become very political. And so it doesn't want to mess up the head.
Yeah.
And you don't want to screw up an economy that's kicking ass. But that's when you actually need to be like, all right, now is the time you can raise taxes and increase interest rates and not screw stuff up.
But isn't this like the very definition of like going into like austerity measures when we ultimately need to grow our way out of it?
Yeah. So austerity is, what's the name of the book? History of a Terrible Idea.
Yeah, because it's it never
Because you can't get
it
out.
never has the full intended effect. You just have to like cross your fingers and hope that the whatever the next thing is that explodes grows your ass out of it.
Yeah, or you get tossed out of office.
You get tossed out of office, or sometimes like, well, there's a war on, right?
Oh yeah. World War II was lots
start that
of
one up.
stimulus spending.
So I mean, if that's the argument for hey, why don't we send $40 billion over here? Why don't we go ahead and get ourselves in another goddamn proxy war because we can't get enough of them, right?
No, we really can't.
We just every time we get out, man.
I'm a little bit more optimistic about that one though. So I was reading about the Russian army today.
Yeah,
It's bad, man.
It's terrible.
It's really like guys are quitting
Yeah.
and stuff and like refusing to say, yeah, we did that. And then,
right.
So yeah, we all crossed that river.
Oh, the equipment. I mean, their equipment is shoddy and crap. I mean, the Russian military is. I'm not really too bad about this proxy war. I'm actually a little bit more upset about the $40 billion being spent because I'm like, I don't even think you need to. The Russians aren't going anywhere. They're not. I mean, they're not going to take Ukraine at this point.
No, and that's a good question of like, do you need to? It's just there's that like, do we really need to always? Is there any version of this where it's like, okay, we finally pulled out of something. We finally, after not accomplishing what we wanted, we finally left. It's like, but I kind of miss it.
Yeah.
Like I kind of miss being involved in shit I didn't need to be involved in.
Yeah.
So, because all it takes is for somebody on the other side is like, yeah, I know that you didn't fight me, but you wrote this check. And
Yeah.
sent all these missiles. Okay? That didn't help. We're supposed to be like kind of friends. It's like,
I think that era's over.
yeah.
Unfortunately.
Until like, we may talk with the next guy.
We'll talk to the next guy. Yeah,
But,
the current
yeah.
guy though. Yeah, I mean,
I think
yeah,
he's kind of done for.
There's a dude that needs to be strangled in
Yeah.
his own bathtub. Let me put it.
right.
slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think he's just going to bleed out. He's going to find a way. Because, so the guy that I was listening to was kind of talking about this, kind of got my spirits up about this a little bit. It's like, so when Putin made this speech, basically said, Ukrainian is not a thing. So
Right.
y'all Russians,
Yeah.
and so we're going to reunite and blah, 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 and stuff like that. It's basically like painting himself into a non-negotiable corner.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I'd certainly put Zelensky in that corner too. And then what this guy did is he made the same point. He was like, well, you got to understand. So we just got done with the war that took 20 years that we didn't win. And then for all 20 years, we said there is no such fucking thing as negotiating with the Taliban. And then all of a sudden we're like, yeah, you can have it. So, then he said, so everybody's going to get a chance to see history repeat here real quick.
Yeah, the least ceremonious table flip in history, where it's
Least
like,
ceremonious.
fuck this.
No, it was like, I got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And just never come back.
That would be the Irish exit. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Why did you jump out a window?
Out the window. Yeah.
Is there a Russian left-hand turn on
Light 'em up, boys.
I don't know. Yeah, so we'll see. I don't know though, man. So this is Rand Paul put a stop on that $40 billion.
He did.
Yeah, I don't know how that works though. I don't know how
For a
that
second.
procedure works.
Because
Day for a week or something?
you can pass that through, but it has to be unanimous. So if everybody says go ahead, then you can pass that through without following like senatorial procedure. Since he put a stop on it, then they'll have to debate.
gotta vote.
They have to debate the bill, and then they have to vote
Okay.
it. And so
What he said was, "Can you show me what's in it?"
Yeah, I know. It was really
Are you
straightforward.
spending this on?
Yeah. Please tell me.
And that's okay. I mean, there are some things that I wish would come to light. They go with the list. It's like there's a lot of liquid paper in here,
Right, yeah.
And like,
It's a lot of whiteout.
yeah, it's like, it's just like it's a lot of Twinkies. This is
How many foam fingers do you guys need?
yeah, I know. There's a lot of like company cell phone plans. Like your family members don't get on the company plan. You guys know that, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
did you purposely referencing the VA, or is that just? Didn't they just have like 9,000 phones and tablets they had plans for, and they gave out like 3 of them?
Dude, it's just some wacky things like this. So, I mean, I don't know. I think we've all made plenty of allusions to government incompetence actually being the thing that makes this country work, because it stops us from being China.
Yeah,
because
it kinda
we were
does
all on the
work.
same foot. Fucking idiots would have like melted us into our own homes
Right.
for COVID.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, the red tape and bureaucracy is a good thing.
Yeah, actually, I for all the incompetence out there, I actually think it works pretty damn good.
Last thing you want is one competent person in charge.
Well,
This thing? Fuck, get the fuck up, yeah. So,
well, competent. I mean, yeah. I mean, imagine.
I think there's a little bit more competence than we're giving it credit for. So, but I think I get it. I totally
Big
understand.
time head shaking.
I
but
know that's my least popular opinion, but
no,
it is
Patrick.
my own. So
with me and my conspiracy theories, I actually assign more competence than necessary.
yeah,
Right.
That's why I can't buy into conspiracy theories too much, because I don't trust competence.
No, generally speaking, no, absolutely not. There are some certain things that, because they're suspicion enough, leads me to believe that there could be something going on, right?
Sure.
There's enough things surrounding the events of January 6th that makes you say, I can't prove anything. But there was some weird stuff going on.
I guarantee you there's some guys in the crowd who didn't have the crowd's best interest in mind.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I can also say that when all of the polling shuts off and goes off for the night, here are the numbers, and then the next day it's like, wow, actually, look at all this. Look at all these we missed, right? Okay, does it mean that something happened?
Did that happen?
I don't know. Yeah, Trump's here. Okay, Biden's here. Okay, they go to bed. Biden's here.
They went to bed? I thought it was announced that night.
No, they had they were counting ballots and then they stopped.
Oh, that's
And
right.
so Trump was ahead.
I do remember.
And the
that.
next morning when everybody woke up, all of a sudden Biden was ahead.
But
It was
would that
like,
have
what
flipped the
happened?
election?
It did.
That one?
It did. That's what.
Yeah.
Well, how many of them was
All
it? I
the
don't
key
know.
states that he needed to win.
They all went
Enough
up by
to
the
win.
same, by like a margin overnight.
Those were all places he was losing,
Yeah.
then won
Right.
the next day, right? So again, I
I
can't.
don't know if it was all. I know Michigan was one. I'm not sure if it was the same in Arizona.
Arizona was for sure.
Arizona took a couple more days, if I'm not mistaken.
But yeah, but the bottom line here is there's enough for me to say, all right, I can't prove anything, and the evidence that would that would be conclusive on this is way gone, right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
I don't know about that. I mean, how long do they have to keep those?
It depends on the state. In
Yeah.
Colorado, not that long. I mean, I think it was
Like a year?
What did they do in
No,
like
I don't even
Arizona
have
when
to-
they recounted or did
Oh, that was a shit show, man.
Boy, that audit was such a shit show.
But this is what I'm saying is there's enough suspicious there for me to say either something may have happened or maybe they tried to do something.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. Right. But here's the thing: is withstanding any actual evidence, then I have to take things as the value that they are.
Yeah, sure.
If somebody shows me something that says so this guy was digging a new septic tank, right, and he kept finding paper, tons of it, and they had filled in bubbles, right? We're like, okay, why don't we re-examine this? Why don't we launch an investigation off this? But for right now, there's not an evidence for me to say we need to tear everything down from top to bottom. But I can't say that looked fishy. Same thing January 6th. All I know is people got in, they walked around in the velvet ropes. There's evidence that one cop was waving them in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Which
I've
is
seen
how
a
some
video of
dudes
that, yeah.
have
Well,
blocked
one
this.
guy got something dismissed because they were like,
Yep.
"Oh, yeah, he clearly let you in."
He let you in, so it's not you're not trespassing.
Yeah,
said
you can
come in.
tell that not all the cops are on the same page on that one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's enough for me to say, all right, there may be something suspicious going on. I'm not going to sit there and say, well, I've got a lot of alphabet agencies that need to be accounted for. I don't know,
Yeah.
right? But I can say, yeah, it looks fishy. And the same thing with this election. It looks fishy to me. But
Yeah.
as far as I go till now, it's legit.
Yeah, I don't think we'll probably get anything out of there's a January 6th panel coming up here soon.
I think that thing's falling apart. I think
Yeah, I don't
they're
think,
starting to let
yeah, I
people
think
fly on
everybody,
it
it's
now. It didn't turn out to
Yeah.
be the thing that united people against and painted targets on all Republicans as you're the real enemy, no matter how much you try. The whole thing where it was well, we can paint these people as domestic terrorists. It's guys, fuck off with
well,
this.
and you still have to charge them in local courts and things like that, and it's just there's not an appetite for it anymore.
It's
It's over.
It turned out this was I mean, nobody was I think we talked about this a long time ago. They didn't find AOC. They didn't drag her outside and crucify her, right?
Now that would have been very different if they actually did that.
So,
Well, I think the whole episode was they probably would have just given her a good healthy
a swirly,
swirly.
yeah. But I'm telling you, they did not drag Democrats up front and fed them to Moloch, and said
Well, I don't know if they got their hands on Nancy Pelosi. You never know. It depends on who it was. Zip tie guy was a little scary, man. So
I agree.
Yeah.
If you're asking me if there were bad actors in there, probably.
oh, I'm sure. I don't think it was very many of them at all.
I don't either, especially those old ass ladies taking pictures and saying neat.
Well, not those guys. Yeah, for sure.
No,
Yeah.
there was violent actors. I mean, I think the problem is it never turned into the January 6th Commission was set up on a fairly political basis.
Yeah. To try to Congress, man.
No, I mean, they're completely partisan, but with the hopes it was we're going to dig up
That would be
that,
ultra-partisan.
like Trump and UltraMAGA planned this. And I think that fell by the wayside.
No, that's
and then all of a sudden you start realizing oh, this was kind of a more or less just a dumb organic,
Right.
event that just occurred. Like people were like, oh yeah, let's do it, and then they went and did
The
it.
dog caught the car.
Yeah. The dog got the car. They got a little riled up, and then people were like, let's go stop this place. There was no underground communication between people. Like, you gonna send them over now? Yeah, they're
Well,
gonna
that's what
break
they were
in.
looking
I mean,
for. Like, yeah.
that's what they wanted to
I know.
find. And once you kind of like, well, we didn't find it. Well, then fucked it. So what you're saying is the event is exactly what it looked like on TV.
Exactly. Yeah. So that dude that went in there, went inside, was let inside, scrambled around some shit, walked out with a 12-pack of like orange Fanta from somebody's office. Right.
Yeah, took a picture. It was like,
Somebody's glass
propped up on the desk. Like, yeah, can you make that one?
Yeah, my glass wedge that I got.
And I don't doubt there's a bunch of little Fed dudes out there being like, yeah, you should go in there too. Yeah, you should go on in. I guarantee that was there.
I can see that. Yeah.
Did they organize the whole thing? No.
So it was just like that with the kidnapping the governor thing.
And it turned out that there were more feds than people.
Yeah,
That one was more along the lines of like the Feds did that one.
Yeah.
No, I get that, but I mean, I think the feds did that one, thinking that they were probably going to catch a lot more fish than they were actually.
No, I think that's what they did. I thought they were like, we're gonna catch this big net, and all of a sudden they got like two guys who were like,
Oh, wait a minute, dude.
Okay.
Like, oh, yeah, you too.
So you'll get the boat, right? I guess.
Yeah.
I gotta. My wife's cooking dinner, but yeah.
Show off, and three of the guys are from
What was the whole
academy.
thing when like?
Oops.
Remember when Ammon
We need to
Bundy?
rethink this.
Remember Ammon Bundy and the Bundys and the cattle ranching?
Oh yeah.
And then the son
Oregon, yeah.
like overtook over the Mohair National Park or whatever. And
Right.
yeah, and they were like, everybody was like gung-ho, like these guys took it over. They're armed. They didn't have hostages. They were just armed inside the building. And they're like, it was like Ruby Ridge and all this came back up. And then all of a sudden, you never heard anything of it again, because when they got him out, they found out like 90% of the people in Ammon Bundy's gang were federal agents pushing him to do this stuff.
Oh my god.
And so they literally didn't prosecute hardly anybody for any of that, because they're like, you guys were just, you literally were all federal agents,
Yeah,
except for like three of you.
Well, we had three dumbasses who actually buy the Kool-Aid, drank the Kool-Aid.
like Ammon Bundy, I think that's his name.
Yeah, I know who you're
Was his
talking about.
kid.
He's kind of that pudgy guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and Cliven Bundy's his
Clive
dad.
Bundy was his dad.
And then
yeah.
Ammon Bundy is just a moron of a kid. I mean, the guy's dumb as a post.
I remember, didn't Milo Yiannopoulos go out there? I think he did.
Oh my god.
Yeah. There's a guy who got
Lunatic.
canceled.
It doesn't bother me that dude's gone.
Really? Okay.
No, he kind of, he was that guy was a shit show, dude.
Well, whatever happened to the other guy, the Nazi guy?
Oh, Richard Spencer?
Richard Spencer. I haven't seen him in a while either.
Like after he got punched, he's like, I've had enough.
I'm not going to pursue my Nazi ways anymore.
No, I saw him. He was on CNN, like in an interview. And
He was on CNN.
Yeah, they brought him on to. It was actually really kind of funny. They brought him on to like badmouth Republicans or something, and it was kind of like, I don't know if you guys are accomplishing what you want to do.
Yeah, they don't invite Ben Shapiro on anymore to do anything. So.
And so, yeah, it was just.
Oh, that guy's voice.
Oh man, that guy makes my brain hurt. So
Why his voice?
Oh, I don't know
so
the brand.
fast.
He
Yeah,
talks
he talks
very
so
fast.
fast.
Yeah, he does.
So
It's not just the speed; it's the timbre and pitch of his voice.
Yeah.
So maybe it gets to your brain, but it feels like he's fucking both of my ears when he's talking. So the message may not be sinking in because and nothing against him as a person. I mean, I think he goes to bed angry. I think he wakes up angry. I think he's angry at his coffee. I think he's angry at like just
he kind of looked a little angry.
he looks.
I don't know.
He got a bit of a
Sometimes-
permascowl.
Yeah.
He definitely has a permascowl. So I don't know though. I can listen to him before I listen to Alex Jones though. It's just he sucked
Alex
out of my
Jones.
room. Yeah. You ever listen to him?
Alex Jones?
Yeah.
The lunatic conspiracy?
Yes. Oh, he's fun sometimes.
Oh, no, I don't
Oh,
listen
yeah.
to that garbage. No, I mean, I can listen to Shapiro. I can't listen to fucking Jones. Oh, God.
No, it's
Ooh.
no, Alex.
He's still on?
He's got a different channel now.
I guess he's got to pay his Sandy Hook.
Yeah, he's got to pay them a lot of money.
Millions and millions of dollars.
And I think he got divorced too. I think his wife said,
Hey,
"Okay,
surprising."
enough." Yeah.
Imagine being his.
Oh my god.
Gross.
Like,
Just imagine being around that dude in any period of length of time.
it's not like I get the like heated about political shit, but I guarantee you, he talks with that much fervor about like the Packers and like,
Yeah. Damn neighbor kids.
I don't believe this shit. What they do is they give you the same package, but they make the donut a little bit smaller, right? And then they charge the same price.
That's actually pretty good. That is pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that's a real thing, but I don't care. I
Yeah.
too much already. Like, if they actually impacted my life by subtly like making Twinkies smaller and maybe like healthier, but I still thought I was getting the whole Twinkie. But yeah,
Actually, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's really shady, but it worked, man. Cool. Like if they somehow managed to like take a 12-ounce can of Coke,
But like made it like 10.
it made it 10,
But,
like
0.5. Yeah.
like
Got the can a little thicker or whatever.
like you see guys trying to crush it with like
There's like a
concussions.
fake bottom on it.
Because aluminum gets really strong once you make it just a little bit thicker, right?
Yeah, they make
Yeah.
airplanes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you're gonna bang one of those,
Aluminum
right?
costs more than the drink.
Yeah, you
Oh,
want
yeah.
to do that.
Oh right.
Just put air in there. Like every time
Like
you
wall
open a
that-
Coke, it just is going to explode because it's been shaking around in there.
They literally just put 10 ounces in the 12-ounce can.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know because you open up it's like fizzy, like, all right.
You would know it. Right off the bat, you'd be like, wait a minute, there it is. You know?
I mean, the other thing I can do is I can think of like trying to displace it with a weight, but then it's like shaking a paint
But see,
can.
at that point, I mean, Coke's bad. I mean, like, what? Like a gallon of Coke costs like a penny
Yeah,
to make. I mean, there's not a lot of
Yeah, they don't
savings
I think you're
there.
choosing the wrong product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't to skip on it. It was to actually make people think they're drinking 12 ounces, but
you
only
have
giving
the-
them 10.
Bottom bigger, you just have to push
No,
it.
yeah, like a fake bottom or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
What's the purpose of this, to actually help people lose weight? Or
Yeah.
just-
Okay,
okay.
was it
Otherwise, I was
less
about to say, just
dipping?
put fucking water in it, you know? So,
Oh yeah, it's diluted.
yeah.
People would notice.
Well, you notice that.
Maybe. It's like...
That is, it's
new
basically
Coke.
portion
Yeah,
control. Make
control.
you think you're getting this big a portion, but you're not.
Yeah. I don't know. You can just put a cardboard disc in a something.
Dude, Weight Watchers used to sell this thing where it was a bread slicer, and the whole purpose of this was to take one slice of white bread and slice it into two.
Oh, and make it... Okay, so you still...
Oh, no way.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man.
I never lose weight on Weight Watchers. I'm
No.
just saying, like, that
I
trick doesn't
disagree.
work. Some people do,
I
but
disagree. My neighbor and an ex-girlfriend lost a lot of weight on Weight Watchers.
did they stay clean?
She did. He did not.
Oh,
Went right back to the crack, man.
no, Jeffrey, she's high as fuck right,
Right,
now.
no, yeah,
Yes.
that's the...
The state took her kids.
Yep, and she's on her third set of teeth.
But no, Weight Watchers is good, but it teaches you. I think Weight Watchers is actually pretty impressive. It teaches you just kind of how to eat healthy. I mean, it's not
the
it's
point,
not
so-
box stuff anymore.
Yeah.
It's not like because the stuff you get, it's like no, there's no box stuff. It basically just gives you like if you eat this, you take points off. You take points off,
Oh,
and you just track
yeah.
that. And then it gives you free stuff like you can eat as many hard-boiled eggs as you want and grapes as you want. With the theory behind it is no one's ever got fat because they ate too many hard-boiled eggs or grapes.
Can't stand it.
Because you can't eat them that long. Yeah. And you know, figuring out how to make certain things is more healthy for you. Actually, it's actually kind of impressive. Like that's good.
Well, and yeah, if you
But
do,
you got
like,
you got to keep up with it. You can't you can't do that and then go start eating bags of chips again. And be
That's-
like, fuck you, Weight Watchers. Like,
and that's where the whole thing was falling apart. It's like, no, but the person knows they're cutting a piece of bread in half. This is not
yeah.
everything that they're saving. They are visually seeing like, well, I can be worse because I cut this in half.
Right.
Right. That's what I was talking about.
the
The
mayonnaise on my sandwich.
Well, and that's the thing you get with working out, though, too. People start working out and they're like, well, now I can eat more. It's like, no,
Right,
that's
yeah.
not how that would
Yeah.
work. You can't just eat away your workout.
I know. I know.
Just watch anybody who came off a football team for 6 months.
Oh yeah, that was Jason who broke the crust off his Pop-Tarts.
Right.
Those were the only parts that didn't have frosting.
What? Oh, are you kidding?
Oh, he was a big fat man. Yeah, he was sitting. He was.
When you're talking about like just like 2 millimeters.
This was a joke. I was like,
but he'd break that off?
yeah, I was.
I did it at a certain point.
What?
When I was,
Yeah, but you're like skinny.
when I was growing
You
up.
broke the crust off?
Yeah, I did have frosting.
But it's not that big. It's like that big.
It's gross.
It's like it's a lot of extra work, man.
No, they literally
No,
almost just pop
they're
out.
almost perforated.
Yeah, it looks, yeah, it's almost
It's almost
perforated. Like
perforated.
right where that frosting ends and the blob in the middle, like it literally just like snaps off.
Really?
Oh yeah, and then all you have is goody. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it seems like a lot of work. Just bite into it and you get all of it.
oh no, it's like eating the crust on a pie. It's just like cardboard. Like why? If you could just have like a crustless pie that's just filling with just a little top and bottom, yeah.
It's called pudding.
Yeah, it's called pudding.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
Oh well, okay. I
Pie-
usually
yeah.
eat like apple pie or something.
That's pudding with junk.
Well, I like
The
putting
chunky
that
thing
junk.
with
Yeah.
a bit. That's put. Okay, well, all right. So I have to ask you if you believe in nutrition like our mom did. Were Hostess fruit pies good for you because they had fruit?
They work for me.
See, I can't eat those. They got fruit in them.
I'm asking you, as a microbiologist, are they good for you?
I don't know because I'm trying to explain how it worked for me.
No, it's bad for you. It's 99% fucking sugar.
Yeah, I still eat plenty of sugar and it's not doing anything. And I'm old. My metabolism isn't supposed to be the same. So
We're not basing healthy just on real metabolism here.
that's the word I have the most evidence for.
It's the one that we have the least evidence.
It's a sample set of one.
But it's my sample.
This is
set.
scientifically garbage.
I've gotten to test different things on me.
Right, but the problem here is, as you are the sample and the control group, right? This is the thing. I don't know if you have a 40-foot tapeworm that's stopping you from getting all your stuff, okay? And you're talking about nutrition. Oh, fruit pies. Oh, it's fine, right? Yeah, because it's
I mean,
they're-
your
My
arteries might be
kids
clogged
are-
like a motherfucker.
My
you don't
kids
know.
are doing the same thing.
your kid is sick every 3 days.
Not anymore.
It's because you liquefied carrots and started making him take IVs.
No, I let him eat strawberries.
That's something,
It's something. But yeah, he doesn't get sick anymore.
but he was.
He was.
Yeah.
But that stopped. So he doesn't eat as much sugar. Olivia eats so much sugar.
Well, also, William, your kids like are the most physically active children I have ever.
No, they sit down and park themselves in front of the screen.
Plenty, yes, but the rest of the time they just like climb things for no reason, for hours at a time.
Oh, you're going to extremes.
Boy, I can show you some inactive children.
Well, I'm sure there's lumps out there that are worse than mine. Yeah, but
Mine is, yeah.
she's not overweight.
No.
She doesn't eat.
No, yeah. So this is very simple, like equation.
Right.
Like you get fat when you put too much food in one end, okay, and only some of it comes out the other end. So
I don't know. It worked for me, so that's all I know. I eat donuts for breakfast every day. And none of it seemed
I
to.
can't do any of that anymore. I can't even eat breakfast anymore.
Oh, just the meal itself.
Yeah, it's
Not-
like
not the-
no, man. Food in the morning makes me sick now. So
See, and I've never been a food in the morning. Like, I just don't
No?
eat in the morning.
Yeah.
I never really have. I probably eat morning now more than I ever have, and it's maybe once every week I might have something in the morning. I mean, I'll eat lunch at like 10:30, 11 still, but
There isn't like hunger. Like
not really. I've never really like putting food in my stomach in the morning. That makes me want to kind of like throw up.
wow.
I just drink coffee. Yeah,
Yeah, I have a Mountain Dew and I'm good to go until 11.
an AM coffee.
I'm drinking caffeine, and that's an appetite suppressant, and so that helps. But I never have. Ever since I became, never ate breakfast. Never liked
I
breakfast.
used to be big on breakfast.
Yeah.
And then I worked night shift and it got all fucked up.
You know,
It
the only
does
time I'll
get
do breakfast is like wake up on the weekends and then like, you know, slowly get yourself together and be like 10 o'clock, be like, all right, let's go get some eggs.
Well, yeah. See, this thing is, I love breakfast foods, but
Oh yeah.
I'm certainly willing to divorce it from the morning hours.
Oh yeah.
Dude, everything's divorced from a time schedule
Yeah,
anymore in my life and yours.
You and me.
So, dude, I am so unmoored right now. It's glorious.
So what?
Unmoored from any reality in terms of like the sun and how it's supposed to regulate. I don't let that bitch regulate shit.
That's right.
Neither do you.
When I had my roof redone, I had them take off the skylights.
Right.
Oh.
I'm going to paint the plywood.
Yeah.
But they pasted right over it because I was like, no, actually, I really work hard to keep natural light out of my house. Because, and I don't mean this because I don't like going out in the light. It's just like when I'm in the home, I want to control exactly what the light levels
Yes,
are.
me too.
Right? And I'm sick of that big thing out there and crappy curtains handling that for me. So, you know,
Yep.
yeah.
No, I got my house is rigged with blackout curtains, so it's
I've
good.
done that down there. I
Yeah.
need to get the rest of these, but
Yeah, and so
well, yeah, I do most of my teaching online. Lights changing is kind of a problem because that's why this is like this, and I have fucking cardboard on it because like. Because
folks,
like,
it does look as ghetto as you think.
Oh yeah, that's when
He's actually not doing it justice.
no, when my mom because that's the dog door
Got
part
a
too.
piece of foam, kind of.
Yeah, well that's because in the winter, holy shit.
Shit, man.
Cardboard's not very good insulator.
Well, no, that's the thing is that it's a bad fit. I don't know, but the dog still wants to go inside and outside during the winter, and I don't know.
It's probably good for you still, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want the dog shitting in the house. Or maybe you don't.
Well, no, the whole thing should be like, no, dog, you go outside when I say you go outside. But you could, well, you know, I'm not that kind of dog owner.
No.
I don't like to take that kind of freedom away from her. Even if all she does is she just pokes her head out, she's like, no. It's like, I need her to know that.
In or out, dog.
I've seen on the really cold days, we've actually shut it and said,
That's rare.
sorry, you have to be smarter than this.
Well, you know what that is? It's because I've been sitting there listening to the furnace going on all day, and I don't have to. Like, this is strictly because of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't hear the flip flap of the dog door just blowing open in the wind.
That's that.
Yeah, I just turned my furnace off.
What?
On the really cold days?
No, just now. I was just thinking about that.
Oh.
I'm gonna go out and spray down my air conditioner.
I've already turned on my AC.
Have you?
Yeah, I turned mine on too. Yeah.
I don't need mine just, but yeah. See, I lived without AC for so long. I'm very good at regulating, like the
No,
house
I'm
temperature.
a baby.
No.
But do you open windows and stuff?
At night.
Yeah, see, I can't. Cheryl is so allergy oriented that we can't open the windows.
Oh no.
So I'm like, I gotta turn the AC on then.
Yeah, I'm allergic
We
to
tell another thing. That's funny.
What's that?
I'm allergic to every tree, every piece of blade of grass that has ever grown on the face of the planet. So every flower, everything. And you know what? I'll still keep the windows open because after a little while, it's just like, you know what? If you're allergic to everything, you always feel this way.
Well, aren't you taking
So I might as well be cool.
aren't you taking Claritins because of the cats anyway?
Yeah, I'm allergic to cats, and I have 2 of them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you're dosed already.
Yeah, well, Zyrtec, it works pretty good, but yeah.
You don't have to like tempt it.
Oh yeah, actually, I would give them an unsponsored and unpaid endorsement, so that one has worked pretty good. Yeah, because I did switch from Claritin, and it's
Did
better.
you really?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
better. It works better. You get a shit ton of them at
The
fucking
other
Costco.
thing is you're leaving your windows open just invites intruders to rob your house.
In your neighborhood?
Well, in life, that was the stuff I got.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
And you don't have any guns?
No.
Well, but what are you going to do about it?
Not worried of it.
Yeah, okay, all right, got it.
Because it happens uber teeny tiny percent.
I have never known somebody
See, I must think the reverse. Like if I was a burglar, I guess my thought is if I'm a burglar, I don't want to run into people.
No, I'm going to rob your house at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, like if your windows are open,
yeah.
you're almost indicating to me like you're there. I'm like, I don't know,
exactly.
there. You have a gun.
I've never heard of someone getting robbed overnight unless it was like a house that was like somebody was on vacation or something. You know, didn't that happen to Rob's mom once?
Yeah, it was the middle of the day.
It was in the day though.
They tried to kick in the front door.
Yeah. While she was home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. And Mr. Dan, he did get robbed overnight.
Yeah, but he lived in the hood, man.
He did live in the hood. Yes, that is correct. It is.
Yeah, Mike got robbed too, but he lived in the fucking hood.
Right.
And he wasn't home when it happened.
So what I'd like to say is,
Move, motherfucker.
I live in the hood.
You do not live in the hood.
you can
Live in the hood.
Everybody in your neighborhood is
no,
white.
no, that's okay. You can button this up.
No, actually, we got a good sprinkle.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah,
So you got a couple sprinkles on that very, very white cake donut over there.
probably the appropriate proportion that you
Okay,
described.
all right.
Yes, the donut is all there, but yeah, there's you can see all the sprinkles.
Your neighbors are honorary whites, regardless of what
Well,
your
yes,
skin
yes.
looks like. And it's a pretty decent level.
And then like every single house either has
white.
nests or
Oh,
cameras on their
Yeah.
house, or like every single house has it.
Oh, I know.
Has what?
A camera or the
Camera.
doorbell.
Oh,
or,
yeah.
like, every single
The
one.
rings
So
or the wises.
who's
and,
gonna? Or they just blatantly have a camera just sitting
Yep.
like right over their garage.
the
Okay.
little the bubble.
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
Whatever
little
different
tube
kinds
ones.
they have, but it's
Yeah.
just like who's gonna come into my cul-de-sac and be like, "That's
Now, people have
Yeah.
come in our cul-de-sac, all right, routinely to check car doors and shit like that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, they do that all the time. And then, of course, the whole Ring neighborhood blows up. Like, you don't do the fucking car doors. Get your machine guns, boys. You know?
So, yeah, we've had people walk down our street and check
yeah.
corridors. Like I,
Well, yeah, you're right. You're on a main drag right
I'm off
there,
the-
so I wouldn't
yeah.
be surprised at all. But, you know, like...
like
the guys with
home
like
invasion.
fucking
Yeah.
like pullover ski masks like kicking your
I mean, somebody
door.
doing that. I mean, you're that's a different level. And you're risking getting shot.
You're not gonna do that house. You're gonna go to a liquor store or something.
yeah.
So-
Well, I mean, your chances of actually finding like real valuables breaking into a house are kind of slim because like taking a TV is not worth it.
no,
no.
Right.
No, you're looking for the jewelry box. You're looking for
Yeah.
guns. You know,
You're looking for the guns. You're looking for a jewelry box. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of because you're
Your
also
reward is crap.
yeah. Nobody has cash.
well, okay, so that's why like the neighborhoods that do get robbed are ones that we can't afford. You know, so like you hear about like Beverly Hills break-ins all the time. You know, that's because the risk reward
That's higher than like,
yeah, it gets a lot more expensive.
Oh shit! Who was it? I'm trying to remember which celebrity. They stole her dog because the dog breed was so valuable.
That was in New York. Who was that? With the guy who was walking the dog and they got mugged?
yeah,
Oh
They stole
yeah.
the dog because the dog is that expensive.
Yeah, that's like one of them French pit bulls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like 10 grand or something.
There's no French pit bulls.
I know. Oh, that's all right. Bulldogs.
Oh, that's Prince Pitbull. That's actually kind of funny.
Awesome, man.
It's like this big.
Like this
Yes.
big,
Yeah.
pointy.
It's like you can look at its eyes. It's like, oh, you would have maul a child, but you can't. You're too little.
You're so cute. You're so cute.
Do their jaws still lock? Like, oh, yes, they do.
Exactly. Like, come on. Oh, you're too cute. All right, man. Let's French pit bulls is where I.
French pit bulls. Yeah. Who's the celebrity though?
I don't remember who it was.
Was it Lady Gaga? I think it
Yes.
was Gaga.
They got jacked, right?
Yeah,
was her
it wasn't
assistant,
her
yeah.
as assistant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would be crazy. It's like you jacked Lady Gaga, left all of her stuff. I mean, she's adorned in gaudy shit that's expensive, but you ran off with her dog.
Right.
I would almost have to think like this has got to be like an ex-boyfriend.
The one
This is
thing
how
that's
dry
actually
it
probably
starts.
chipped.
Yeah, well, like you get down to it, it's like, so you all bought the dog together.
Yeah.
She got it to break it.
I'm taking my dog back, damn it.
That reeks of being like a Steve Martin movie, dude. It really does.
Oh, gross, man.
All right, we got a button up show. We're like 2 hours, aren't we?
We're at $1.43. So
Okay.
that's like pretty par for the course when we get to full crew.
Well, yeah, I know. They don't always, especially this one. Like, do you have a good crowd to tee off on politically on a regular basis or no?
No, my buddy. Mike is about it.
Okay. Well, you're always welcome to do that here.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pat and I have kind of gone rounds. We got it out of our system a while ago.
We actually went around it a little bit the other night. So
Not seriously.
yeah.
Yeah. We were just kind of like picking on. It was politics as it pertains to Twitter. So that was.
It was Twitter politics.
You guys
Yeah.
are on about Twitter a lot.
Yeah.
That's true. We did this there.
Because Twitter is literally like Twitter. No, Twitter is like your soap opera of politics.
It really is. Yeah.
It's like it's everybody's like favorite like secret love. You know, they're like Twitter. It's garbage, but I still fucking love it.
Exactly.
Yes.
It is the my 600-pound life. Of,
Oh, it really is.
yeah.
We do need more topics though, because he's right. We go off on Twitter a lot. We go off on movies a lot. We go off on China a lot.
We do. Yeah.
In all those cases, I think China deserves it the most, but
I make a solid point for Twitter, and that's why
I think I like China more than I like Twitter.
you don't know that much about China, then.
Yeah, it's called humor. It's called a joke.
I don't always get those. Yeah, sometimes they do right.
Well, I guess the issue then would have to revolve around like things that are done. We'd have to do things that actually embrace each other's common interests, right? So if I say, go watch the crappy Hobbit from, this.
The cartoon one?
The crappy Lord of the Rings ones. The
rotoscope
Ralph
ones?
Bakshi
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I actually did watch one of those the other
If
day.
I told you to go
Boromir
watch
die
those-
in rotoscope, it was horrifying.
Yeah. So if I told you to go watch those, right, for
He
the
was wearing
sake of
short shorts, man.
I know. Look, I've seen it. It's you know what's funny? It takes people an inordinate time to walk somewhere.
Especially the orcs, and they're all black.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Like
And-
black guys.
Well,
Yeah, like black, like the color, like with red.
they
eyes.
literally
Yeah.
just make them like eyeballs and teeth.
Yeah,
it's
they're
almost
yeah,
offensive.
Yeah, it's weird.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and the thing is, like, there's this attitude of like, well, we animated it, so we're going to show it.
Right.
So
Oh, it's animated. Okay.
Gandalf, well, it's rotoscope
rotoscope.
animation. So like,
What is rotoscope?
is where you basically you record a person, okay, doing a motion, and then you look through that on a screen and draw over
around
it to get the
yeah.
motions instead of right. And you can take that and turn it into a cat.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, because they animated Gandalf walking into
Everything.
Saruman's office, it is this 15-second
And-
little trek.
And he does it so many times, man. So I did watch that. All right, that's a good topic then.
But that's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
we'd have to like, and if I say like play this bullshit game,
Okay.
right? We'd have to do that because otherwise, like, did you play this? No.
No.
Like it. I don't. It's like, oh, did you see the Packers game? I only watched Formula One.
Right. Yeah. No golf was on. Yeah.
Did you watch the golf? No, I was watching the golf.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
want me to watch golf, I gotta watch some golf, man.
No, I don't want you to watch golf.
So you're starting to move into prep time, is what you're saying. I mean, you get.
Well, I like the idea of the topics bitch list. So
The what?
But are we perennially mad at the same stuff?
We might be.
Probably.
Might be. Yeah.
The same shit
might
over
be.
and over again. That's why I was kind of surprised. That's why I was kind of surprised when you guys started doing Wednesdays too. I'm like, my God, hey, how much stuff do you got?
Almost always met at least twice a week.
Yeah.
So this conversation's been running for 20 fucking
Yeah,
years.
well,
And we do go over the same territory.
we cut it down from 7, which
We were at 7 at one point in time.
Wow.
Yeah.
7 days a week.
Yeah, we
We
go out
just
for
work.
coffee every night. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Or we are at work. Yeah.
well, or we weren't working, right?
That happened too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we cut it down from 7. Then we cut that down to like 3 in person, 3 Xbox Live.
Yeah. A lot of Call of Duty.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then eventually we started working like different hours, so we had to like carve out like specific times
And days.
because we got tired of like asking.
Right. Yeah,
And then-
what are you doing? Well, I'm busy. I'm at work. Okay.
Right, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it was like these 2 days work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wednesday
Yeah.
and Friday seems to work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, you guys did fascinating. Yeah, it's tough and sad backstory, man.
Fascinating.
Any last thoughts, William?
I think the
Oh, are we still
Broncos.
on?
Oh yeah, we need football.
We're
yeah,
still on?
We're still
I
on.
didn't know we were still on.
I didn't know we were still on either.
I haven't hit the button yet.
I think the Broncos are going to go 12-5 based on the schedule.
I saw who they're playing first.
That's
Did they do that on purpose?
Oh,
okay.
It's kind of stoked on the Christmas game.
All right. Final thoughts, Ryan.
Dude, the Avalanche kick ass.
That's true too.
Yeah,
Here we go.
I've been really excited about that.
God, that's-
I got nothing.
you don't have to tell me about hockey. Man.
Yeah, that's good.
You got nothing?
I got nothing.
Oh.
You want me to hit the button?
Yeah.
Yeah.